Start this bad boy up. See if I can get the frickin' brake safety. God. You know, it's hard to be a Florida man when these guys in California are making rules for your Florida bike like a brake safety switch. That thing really pisses me off. I'm gonna get rid of it. I got a safety switch right here. What more do I need? The starter wire is big and beefy. If you tried to start your bike with these little spindly wires, they would just heat up and melt, most likely catch on fire. So what they do is these little wires that run to your start switch just send 12 volts to the starter relay. The starter relay takes a nice thick cable from the battery, puts it into the relay, and then it sends another big cable from the starter relay to the starter. When you hit the starter button up here, the little skinny wire just tells the starter relay to engage those two big wires. So the start system has one wire going to the starter relay, and the starter relay is probably grounded. The wire goes through several switches. It goes through an either or switch up here on either brake, and then it goes into this switch here. Actually, it goes into this switch here first, so you can have it where the starter doesn't even work, and then you have the starter switch itself. So all these switches are in line with, I think, this yellow wire with the red stripe on it. I want to make these brake switches. I want to take them out of the loop, but I want to keep this kill switch and my starter switch. So I only want two switches in this loop. I know there's going to be a way better way to do this after I make this video, but electricity is magic to me. I really don't understand it. When I turn the key on, this yellow and red wire gets no power, fed via this green wire with the yellow stripe on it to the back side, but when I pull the brake lever on, I get my 12 volts. So if I simply jump this wire that feeds the starter switch, the yellow with the red stripe, to a battery on, keyed on 12 volt, it works. This is off, no start. This is on, start. But it also feeds that green wire 12 volts that comes in with the yellow stripe on it, the one that feeds that yellow with the red stripe, and that turns your brake light on. So right now the brake light's on, and if I unplug this, the brake light goes out. So I can't just jump to that green wire. I have to disconnect that green wire. I have to get rid of it. It can't be the one feeding this 12 volts. That green wire gets its 12 volts when you pull the brake switch on. So if you always have 12 volts going to that green wire, your brake lights will always be on. So I'm going to get rid of that green wire, and then I'm going to feed a keyed on black wire into this start switch. So my start switch will always be hot. I can start it even when the engine's running, just like in the 70s when you would embarrass yourself by hitting your starter switch while the car is already running. I want to pull out that green wire with the yellow stripe, and you can use a little pick and stick down in there and pop that out. That wire popped out now, and you can see when I put the brakes on, it gives me 12 volts. You could actually just run that to another brake light if you wanted to, I guess, but I'm going to tape it off just so it doesn't touch anything when I put the brakes on. So I use this black wire that goes nowhere into this cannon plug. It really doesn't do anything, so maybe it's not being used. And anything black's a keyed on hot. I did the ghetto connector right here between the two. I had to chip out that top piece, you know, because it's made to hold the end of a wire. I now have the ignition wire hot when these are plugged in. Got these two connected, still haven't taped that off yet. And I turn the key on, and the brake light is not on. If I push the brakes, they come on. That's good. If I have the switch in off position, I get nothing. if I turn the switch on, I can start. Perfect.